Hold off a day or two, and don't go stirring the waters just yet," the man beside him said. He nodded toward the far ring where Flavius was putting a bay horse through its paces, weaving in and out through a line of upright poles. Deulius spat through the gap left after one of his teeth had remained behind with a broken chariot in the sands of the circus. "Typhon take it! They aren't a pair of fighting cocks. I can't keep them apart forever. You let them train together yourself. It's natural." The other man, Alan, was a time-expired veteran of the cavalry auxiliaries and master of the horses that the estate sold to the army as remounts. "And when they do work together, 9 times out of 10 young Correus shows the better, and the young master looks fit to split his gut. I'm telling ye, Deulius, let it bide for now. Don't race them. That's pure spite, and young master would do well to unlearn it. He doesn't want to be a charioteer anyway. He'll follow the old general's road and be a commander. Correus, now he could have all Rome throwing him posies in the circus. It's a good way for a lad with no inheritance to make his way in the world." "Aye, and he could take his shield in the cavalry," Alan said, looking sideways at his old friend. "And do a job that's fit for a man, not peacocking about in a fancy tunic to give some fat old hens a bit of excitement." This disagreement was obviously of long standing. "Show me the man who ever got rich in the cavalry," Deulius snorted, holding up his hand in salute as Correus pulled the greys up at the gate. "The best yet, lad. Now, go and walk 'em dry before Sabinus gets here, or he'll chew my tail for keeping you from your swordplay." Correus pulled his helmet off and shook his head in the light breeze, brown hair clinging in damp waves about his sharp-angled face. "The gods forbid," he said piously, and flicked the reins, grinning over his shoulder at the 2 trainers. Alan raised his arm and whistled, and the boy in the far ring turned his mount toward them. Flavius Appius Julianus the Younger, called Flavius, also drew rein before the horsemasters. He was an inch or 2 shorter than Correus, with the same dark eyes and aquiline features, and dark curling hair like a fawn's. He ran a hand down the bay's neck and gave an approving pat. "He's shaping up well, Alan. All of this year's lot are. I think it's the best crop yet." "Early days, young master," Alan said. "But I'm thinking you may be right. Your father'll give the army its money's worth with this batch. Now off with you and get your shield." Flavius nodded and trotted toward the horse barns while the 2 men watched. Alan sighed. "He'd be making a good man if he didn't have a father like Julianus to live up to." "That's not the old general's fault," Deulius said. "It's not anyone's fault," Alan said. "When your father's a famous general, you're expected to take up your sword with the eagles, and he knows that." The trainer looked at the straight, slim back astride the bay horse. "I wonder if he wants to." "That's like asking if young Correus wanted to be born a slave woman's bastard," Deulius said, exasperated. "Life turns out the way the fates weave it for you, and you make the best of it. You ought to know that, you old fool." Alan was a Briton and had first joined the Roman auxiliaries at Spear Point, part of a group of young warriors conscripted into the service after the conquest of their tribe. "And in any case," Deulius said, "the general will hand him his manumission soon. He wouldn't have wasted an expensive education on him if he wasn't going to. Then we'll see whose training sticks the best, yours or mine." Alan was silent, running one hand through his grey hair. It was cut short in the Roman fashion, although he still affected the drooping moustache of his countrymen. Beneath his tunic, his thighs were crisscrossed with scars, the occupational hazard of the cavalryman, and his feet, in soft leather boots, stood wide apart as if he still straddled an invisible mount. "You look like a broody hen," Deulius said. "You know something I don't, I suppose. I hope you've got sense enough to keep your fool nose out of it." "Oh, aye," Alan said finally. "There'll be enough other noses stuck in."